What's up, peeps? Julian Williams here at The Distance. Got another video for you guys. Jose Luis Castillo, the comeback. Um, if you watched ESPN last night, you know it was one of the best Friday night fights they've had this year. Overall, you know, I try to watch it every week, but I just don't have a chance. You know, since I work Fridays now, I just can't even watch it. You know, so sometimes I record it, but from time to time I just can't. I'm too tired to just watch the fights. But I ended up getting off of getting off work, and I checked out the Jose Luis Castillo fight, the delayed version since I was up late. I was up a little bit later yesterday. I usually try to go to bed around 11ish, but I was up a little late. You know, I was looking at the Jose Luis Castillo fight, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I know who the other dude was, Ivan Popoka, whatever the hell his name was. I knew who he was. I saw him in the fight against Prodnikov about a year ago. And I thought, you know, he was a pretty good fighter. I thought, you know, he was decent. But I could tell looking at the fight back in like April 2011 that he seemed to just come in with a plan A. And if plan A didn't work for him, then he didn't have a plan B. And he was easy to hit. He squared up with his opponent and yada, yada, yada. The Seinfeld, you know, terminology. But one thing I did realize, because to be honest with you, I didn't even want to watch the fight. I'm used to seeing the old Jose Luis Castillo, the one that fought Corrales, Mayweather, even Hatton, which was 5-6 years ago, or even Stevie Johnston. You know, these were some good fights. You know, and overall back in the day, you know, he was a badass fighter. He was in some good fights and been in a lot of wars coming up, and you know, and now this is like 10 years since the Mayweather fight, 12 years since Stevie Johnston. And I'm thinking to myself, looking at the fight, I'm like, man, this dude is washed the fuck up, man. Like, I don't know why. I still to this day don't know why he's still fighting. I heard it was money issues or something like that. But he did have the fight with like David Diaz in Dallas last year or 2 years ago. And that one didn't look too well. I thought he was going to retire after that fight. He didn't. I saw him like on ESPN Friday Night Fights in 2008, and just overall, he didn't look too good on there. And, you know, of course, there's the fight with Hatton. Hatton broke his rib and knocked him out. But I looked at the fight, and for every fighter that's a veteran, there's always that one last great fight. Every fighter has had it. Larry Holmes had Ray Mercer. Holyfield had Valuev. We could take it a bit further. Grady Brewer just had about a year ago Fernando Guerrero. You know, veteran fighters always have that one young opponent that is just perfectly matched up for them. And even though Popoka is about like 30 years old, which is a bit old in boxing years, but he is a bit old in boxing years, but he's still a young fighter. But you can just tell the veteranship of Jose Luis Castillo and experience compared to his opponent, because his opponent, even though he was being hit, made no adjustments. He's being hit, and like he's getting hit clean. He's not taking the knee. He's not tying up well. He's still squaring up with him. He's not moving around the ring. So Castillo went in and took advantage of it and just punished him for it. Made him pay for those mistakes. And like, I think all veteran fighters, you know, have that one young opponent that is just perfect for their style and complements them well. And that's what Jose Luis Castillo had. I like seeing these older fighters go in and have that one final great performance against a young fighter. But the problem I have from time to time with seeing a veteran go in against a young fighter and winning is that it keeps the veteran in the sport for another couple years, and it could cause him to get hurt or, you know, seriously injured in a fight. And Castillo's about 38 years old, which is a bit old in boxing years, and he's been, you know, in a few wars. You know, I wouldn't want to see Castillo. You would think that this would be the perfect swan song for Castillo after this amazing, brilliant effort. But more than likely, it's not. More than likely, we're going to see Castillo again and again over the next couple years. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight a Eric Morales, another veteran fighter. But I wouldn't want to see him go in against a young skillful fighter. You know, that of course is younger than him, stronger than him, quicker than him, and more than likely watched a lot of his fights, you know, and has that advantage just watching his fights. These victories for older fighters are bittersweet because, you know, when they win the fights, but a couple years later, not as bittersweet. I would like to see Castillo retire, but he's not, because it's boxing. It's what he does. But of course, you know, I know he's going to continue fighting. He's going to continue fighting on from here, despite having a great value effort against a young fighter. So anyway, that's all I have to say about this one. Let me know what you think. That was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.